Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books, and today I'm here to announce the next full channel read-along. So, for the last 20 months, my friend Matt and I have been reading together The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan and eventually Brandon Sanderson, and we have been the original goal was one book a month with a couple of breaks. We ended up taking more breaks than anticipated because I had a baby, Matt had stuff going on, so we did end up sometimes doing one book every other month. I think last summer we did one every other month, but what I'm here to do today is to let you guys know what we will be reading together next. So I'll tell you now, because most of you know if you've been paying attention to the weekly updates and my spoiler discussions with Matt as the kind of second half of us reading Wheel of Time, we'd kind of cemented what we were going to do next. But that is Malazan, Book of the Fallen by Steven Erikson. So I know that the world of Malazan is big. We are talking 10 books in this series, and then there's a 4-book series by Ian Esslemont, a 6-book series by Ian Esslemont, a trilogy by Steven Erikson, and another trilogy by Steven Erikson that is currently ongoing. We are committing to reading just Book of the Fallen right now. Multiple reasons why. One, because everyone says that's the best way to really love the story, and a lot of people say that Malazan is at its best when it's reread. So my theory was what I would do is read Book of the Fallen, then go back and reread Book of the Fallen with all of the other books sprinkled in where people say to read them. What I'll probably end up doing is what I do with every series, is publication order. I think publication order is pretty much 100% the best order to read any series in, and that's probably what I will do when I come back to Malazan to read the other books. Do you know what? I'm going to put this one down, and we'll show you the books I'm going to actually be reading with. Well, I'll probably will read with this one, but that one will be going to the office with me when I go into work. But I have the lovely broken binding editions of Malazan Book of the Fallen. I haven't ordered my second set yet. I need to get around to that actually. But so Gardens of the Moon is obviously book 1. This artwork is incredible. It really kind of pisses on the original. Like, the original artwork isn't bad, but this is just beautiful. Obviously, it being a premium special edition, it should be beautiful. What I'm going to do is I am going to read the... is this the right one? I'm going to read the blurb on the back of book 1, but I'm going to do it from the original paperback because, I don't know, I feel like that's going to be less... I feel like the Broken Binding editions are mostly for people who already love the series. Don't ask me why I spent that much money on a series of books that I haven't read and might not like. But let's go. Bled dry by interminable warfare, infighting and bloody confrontations with Lord Anamander Rake, the Malazan Empire simmers with discontent. Its legions yearn for some respite. For Sergeant Whiskey Jack and his bridge burners and Tattersail, surviving sorceress of the Second Legion, the aftermath of the Siege of Pale should have been a time to mourn the dead. But Empress Lacine's gaze has fallen upon Darujistan. For this ancient citadel, last of the free cities of Genabakis, still holds out against her. However, the Empire is not alone in this great game. Sinister forces are gathering as the gods themselves prepare to play their hand. So, why have I decided to read Malazan? It isn't just because I bought really nice editions, although that is a motivating factor. The reason is because a lot of my friends are adamant that this is the best fantasy series of all time. I have been working my way through what I kind of consider to be the classics of the genre as, or maybe not even the classics of the genre. I've been trying to read the series that are held up as the best fantasy has to offer. The first one that I decided to go for was Wheel of Time, primarily because I kind of had a vibe of what the series was like because I'd watched the TV show, the first season of the TV show, and secondary because one of my best friends, it's their favourite fantasy series of all time, and so he and I were able to kind of like message each other and chat about the series, and it was a really nice way to like keep in touch and spend time talking with a friend that I don't live near anymore. So Malazan is kind of the next step on this journey. I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's really interesting because everything that everyone tells you about Malazan seems like it's designed to make you not want to read Malazan. So people are like, oh, it's like homework. Oh, you can't use the audiobook. Oh, you need to use this set of PDF guides combined with this podcast to understand the series. And in my heart of hearts, I will tell you that I just don't believe that. Like, I have a theory, a belief, a thought that most people are not paying enough attention to the media they consume. So people who watch Chris Nolan films while texting on their phone and then say, oh, I didn't understand the plot of Tenet. Well, like, if you sat and watched the film, I feel like it was actually a very simple plot. It just unravels as it goes. And this is a theory that I've held for a long time. And maybe also it is about different levels of comprehension when it comes to storytelling. I have a creative writing degree, so maybe that gives me a leg up in these cases. The preparation that I'm going to do for Malazan is essentially knowing going in or holding the idea in my head that I am not going to understand it until I get a couple of books in. I have seen some booktubers fully drop this series because they felt like they didn't understand anything that was going on. But then I have also seen booktubers drop Wheel of Time. I've seen booktubers who say that half of Wheel of Time is bad, and I loved Wheel of Time, and I really think that there's only one book that isn't actively good. Like, they're all good, but one of them is okay. And even that book has moments that had me on the edge of my seat. And the first thing that I'm excited about when it comes to Malazan is that nobody says any of these books are bad. Everybody says these books are all fantastic. And secondly, I'm just ready to dive into a new, expansive and incredible world. And I've seen the imagery on the front of these books, and I've had a look at some of the interior artworks like this one, and I am just really, really ready to get into a new series. I would like to just point out, it's pretty cool that this one is signed by Steven Erikson, because he's not signing anymore. So my original fantasy trilogy, these three by Erikson. Oh, these maps are really nice. Really, really nice. Big fan. Anyway, these books will be the last set of books he's going to be signing, which is pretty cool. Anyway, so what's the history of Malazan? And by the history of Malazan, I don't mean the in-world, in-fiction history. What I'm talking about is where the series came from. So in the 80s, Steven Erikson and his best friend, Ian Esslemont, were best friend, writing partner, you know how it is. They were at university together. They were studying archaeology and anthropology. and they wanted to write a kind of world in which their fantasy tabletop RPG campaign could be based. And they, together with their interest and backgrounds of archaeology, anthropology, built this incredible world. And they played their RPG campaign in it. And then in the kind of late 80s, early 90s, they were like, why don't we try and do something with this? So originally they wrote Gardens of the Moon as a screenplay. So they pitched this screenplay around and nobody was interested. And then what they did after that was Steven Erikson went away, sat down and turned that screenplay into Gardens of the Moon, the novel. And it was 1992 when they finished that novel, or he finished that novel. And then it was eventually published originally in 1999. The entire series of Malazan Book of the Fallen runs 10 books. And I believe the final book came out in 2011. Let me have a look at my notes. I wrote notes. Those of you who know me personally will be very impressed. 2011. So he basically put one of these books out every single year, apart from 2010 and 2005. So one assumes that the books that came out the year after those were like big, chunky, impressive, difficult to write. And I'm excited by that. We then have, as I was saying, we have a companion series to this by Ian Esslemont. So there's one of them is let me see. So it runs parallel to and then continues after the Book of the Fallen, which is the novels of the Malazan Empire. And then there's also a prequel series by Ian C. Esslemont called the Path to Ascendancy trilogy, which ended up being 4 books. And then we also have the Carcanis trilogy by Steven Erikson, which is a prequel, and that is almost finished. There's 2 books out, 3rd book forthcoming. And then we have the Witness trilogy, which is a sequel to Malazan Book of the Fallen, and begins with The God Is Not Willing. And I've heard a lot of people raving about The God Is Not Willing when it came out, so I am pretty excited about that. And then, what else did I write here? Right. Anyway, so yeah, I'm really excited about this read along, and what I want to talk to you guys about now is the kind of opening schedule and the plan for how Matt and I are going to cover it. So what we're going to do is we will be covering the series 1 book a month. So we're starting with Gardens of the Moon with the intention to release our videos about it in October. So I'm talking to you guys about this way in advance, but I'm starting to prep my October content now, which is why you're getting this video now. So yeah, in October, you'll see 2 videos from us about Malazan. So number 1 will be my spoiler-free review of Gardens of the Moon. Number 2 will be a long-form discussion between Matt and I about book 1, which will be full spoiler. When we say full spoiler, I do mean for the series as a whole up to where we've read. So obviously we won't be spoiling future stuff. Every arc, from what I understand, there are 3 arcs in the series. So there's books 1, 2, 3, books 4, 5, 6, and then 7 through 10 are like 1 arc. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments where I'm wrong. Every single arc, I will be doing a video by myself that is like how I feel about Malazan at this point. I did this with Wheel of Time in 5 book arcs, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great way to read the series and to kind of collect my thoughts on it at good stopping points. So yeah, once I've finished Memories of Ice, which is the 3rd book in Malazan Book of the Fallen, there'll be a video that's like what I think so far. So, one other thing I want to address is how I will be reading. So, fear not, Malazan heads, I will not be using the audiobook. So, I've already made the decision that this is a series that I'm going to be reading physically and via ebook when I need to. I do have actually the audiobook for Gardens of the Moon, and I might use that to practice immersion reading, which I've never actually done before. So that might be the thing that I start this time around. Maybe I should trial it before the biggest, most complicated series of all time. We'll think about that. But the thing that I'm going to state up front is that for Gardens of the Moon, at least, my plan is to not use any of the supporting PDFs, podcasts, all of that stuff. I have it all downloaded. I have it ready if I feel I need it during the reading process. But when people fell in love with Malazan, when people first fell in love with this series originally, they didn't have that. And I feel like I want the experience that people had in 1999 when they picked up Gardens of the Moon for the first time. I want to fall in love with this series organically and naturally rather than have my kind of enthusiasm and hype propped up by mega fans. And I don't want to... I want to feel like when I'm reading it and I'm discovering and I'm understanding stuff, that it's me who's doing that, not the supporting information. So, that's everything. That is what we're reading, how we're reading it, when we're reading it, and a little bit of background about the series. So, I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I would really love it if you joined us and read along with Malazan. As I said, the first book videos will be coming up in October. The plan is then to read a book every month. So we will finish the first trilogy of books in December. I think that is probably where we're going to 100% commit to trying to get to. A lot of people have said that until you read Memories of Ice, the series kind of doesn't bed in and show you the breadth of its quality and how good it is. So I do personally want to try and push to get to Memories of Ice. If Matt really, really hates the series, maybe I'll find a new series to read with him and I'll find a new partner to read Malazan with. But for now, we're committing to trying to get to Memories of Ice. I at least 100% will be reading Memories of Ice, and that should get us up to the end of the year. Then next year, also, ideally, we'll be working straight through from January to July, and that will get us through to The Crippled God. So I really hope that you join us along with the series. Let me know in the comments down below if you're going to do so. If you're a lifelong Malazan mega fan, please shout out any kind of hype you want in the comments. I don't really need tips or tricks in how to read these books. I'm just going to open and read the pages. But it would be lovely to talk to some fans. And please do subscribe to the channel if you would like to be kept up with when these videos go out. So that's kind of how it works. Thanks so much for watching. I'll speak to you on Friday.